giving a child, a piece of paper that said, you don't belong here.
What?
Yes. The people protesting across the street. Giving a child. And so it's up to us, those of us who suffered the way I have done, those of us who worked the way I have, to embrace that privilege and work alongside us to stand up for that child's parents, and for every single one of us. Para mí es el honor de toda mi vida poder representar a una comunidad donde la mayoría de las personas no pueden votar por nosotros. Alexandra y yo representamos unos barrios donde el 60% de las personas no son ciudadanos, entonces no pueden votar. Mucha gente diría, no son nuestros constituyentes, pero ellos son los que más nos necesitan. Yo crecí documentada, llegué a este país después de salir huyendo de Colombia por la violencia. Yo vi un asesinato enfrente de mi casa y en ese momento mi mamá dijo, hasta aquí. Me trajo a este país y aquí hemos luchado. Mi mamá salió de ser una enfermera en Colombia para ser volantera y vender empanadas en las esquinas de la 82 y la Cruz. Yo viví lo que están viviendo muchas familias en este momento. Y gracias a la vida, gracias a Dios, me pude hacer presidente, ciudadana, abogada, y ahora soy la persona que representa nuestro barrio. Porque se dice que el que más la sufre es el que más la lucha. Y entonces aquí estamos para luchar por nuestra comunidad. Yo tomé ese paso de lanzarme por nuestra comunidad porque entiendo eso, porque entiendo el privilegio que tengo, el privilegio de ser una persona educada, una persona con ciudadanía, una persona que ha vivido esos dolores, que al llegar a Olpan y a luchar por las licencias no es lo mismo una persona que entiende lo que es obtener una licencia de manejar por ser indocumentado que una persona que se la tiene. Entonces, cuando Alexandra me pidió que compartiera mi historia, se lo agradezco a Alexandra, porque necesitamos que gente allá, donde dicen que no valemos, que los inmigrantes debemos regresar a nuestro país, que entiendan el valor que nosotros le traemos a este país, que estamos aquí para trabajar y que salimos a luchar por nuestras familias. Y les pido a ustedes, los que están aquí, porque si están aquí, es porque tienen cierto privilegio. El privilegio de ser ciudadanos, residentes, el privilegio de no tener el miedo que muchas de nuestras familias en este momento en Corona Plaza tienen, que muchos de nuestros vendedores ambulantes en este momento tienen. Entonces, si ven algo en la calle, no se queden quietos. Si ven que a un vecino le toca la puerta de inmigración y no tiene una orden de arresto judicial, no se queden callados. Utilicemos nuestro privilegio, porque nosotras solo tenemos cierto poder. No podemos estar en la puerta de cada uno de nuestros vecinos para protegerlos. Ella no yo no María, y ella en Washington. Vamos a luchar, pero necesitamos de cada uno de ustedes, de la historia de dolor de cada uno de ustedes. Porque les puedo asegurar que la historia mía es la de muchos de ustedes. Es la de muchos de los padres y las familias que en este momento están en Corona, en Jackson Heights, Elmhurst y en muchas partes del Bronx. Entonces utilicen su privilegio y ayúdennos, no nos quedemos callados. Porque no vamos a permitir que ni este señor, ni su administración, ni los racistas que están en la esquina dándole panfletos a niños, diciéndoles que no pertenecen a este país, ganen. Aquí el que va a ganar es el pueblo. Gracias.
Thank you for being here. Now, I would like to introduce you to another constituent in Ward 14, Vishnu. He's a longtime active member of ADICAR. He's an ADICAR is a Nepali worker and community center based in Queens. And Vishnu is a Nepali TPS holder and resident of Jackson Heights. Welcome, Vishnu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Namaskar. मेरो नाम विष्णु राजन हो। म 42 वर्षको पुगेँ। म अहिले म्यानहाटनमा फुड डेलिभरीको काम गर्छु। Our TPS टिपिएसको कुरा गरौँ।
My name is Vishnu Hirachan and I'm 42 years old and I work as a food delivery man in Manhattan. I want to share my story about my experience in TPS.
यो टिपिएस यहाँको सरकारले दिएको अहिले म टिपिएसमा छु। आज म टिपिएसले गर्दा मेरो जीवन अलिकति सहज भएको छ किनभने मलाई टिपिएसले गर्दा वर्क परमिट पाएको छ।
With TPS, my life has completely changed and it has become much lighter. With TPS, I've been able to get a work permit where I've been able to find a stable job.
यसले मलाई काम गर्न दिएको छ। काम गरेर मैले धेरै थोरै पैसा बनाएको छ। काम गरेर मैले कामबाट आएको पैसाले म आफ्नो खर्च धेरै थोरै राख्छु जस्तै खानेकुरा घर भाडा अनि थोरै पैसा बचाएर घर पठाउँछु जुन पैसाले मेरो घर चल्छ मेरो छोराछोरी स्कुल पढ्छ खाने खर्ची पढ्न खर्च यसरी चलेको छ।
With this stable job, I now have a new lease on life and I'm able to save what little that I do earn for my own expenses here, but more importantly to support my family back home in Nepal. I have 2 children and these depend on me to go to school.
अनि म यहाँ आएको झन्डै 5 वर्ष पुग्न लाग्यो। म यहाँ आउँदा मेरो वाइफको पेटमा मेरो छोरी थियो। अहिले छोरी 5 वर्ष पुग्न लाग्यो। मैले मेरो छोरी श्रीमतीसँग भेट गर्न पाएको छैन र अहिलेसम्म फोनमा कुरा हुन्छ भिडियो फोनमा हुन्छ। म जस्तै यहाँ हजारौँ अरू आमा बुबा दाजुभाइ दिदीबहिनी छन् जसको आफ्नो परिवारसँग छुटेर बसेका छन्। कल्पना गर्नुहोस् तपाईको बच्चा एक दिन देख्न नपाउँदा कस्तो हुन्छ। मैले त स्क्रिनमा छोएर मैले बच्चा छोएको महसुस गर्छु। यो भावना पनि अहिले प्रविधिको देन हो।
It has been 5 years that I have come here, and when I left home, my wife was pregnant with our daughter. I have never seen them in person in 5 years, and I've never been able to meet my daughter in person either, or hold them. I regularly video chat them, and I see them every day over video, and I speak with them. And it hurts me that I know that there are thousands of other Nepali mothers and fathers like me who are here separated from their families. Can you imagine for one day if you were not able to see your children? What would that feel like? Can you imagine that what I have been doing for 5 years, I've been watching my daughter grow up through the screen.
मैले काम मात्र गरेको छैन, अमेरिकाको नियममा आबद्ध छु। जस्तै यहाँको काम गरे बापत ट्याक्स बुझाउनु पर्छ। मैले त्यो गरेको छु। साथै म जस्तो हजारौं व्यक्ति यो देशको इकोनोमीमा सपोर्ट गरेको छ।
I'm not just someone who's come here to work. I came here to build a life. I pay taxes, and there are thousands of other immigrants like me who work and support this economy and make it grow bigger.
त्यसैले हामी जस्तो हजारौं आप्रवासीलाई पर्मानेन्ट रेसिडेन्सी चाहिन्छ। यदि हामी जस्तो हजारौं आप्रवासीलाई देश निकाला गरियो भने यहाँ हामीले गरेको काम कसले गर्छ? जसरी हामीले गरेको काम दिन रात नभनी घाम पानी नभनी सबैले आफ्नो ठाउँबाट गरेको छ। जस्तै रेस्टुरेन्टको कुक, वेटर, डिशवास, अर्को नानी हेर्ने काम, अर्को ट्याक्सी ड्राइभर, अर्को नेल सेलुनमा काम गर्ने, म जस्तै फुड डेलिभरी गर्ने साइकलमा। अनि यस्ता कामहरू हामी आप्रवासीहरूले गरेर यहाँको इकोनोमीलाई अझै माथि उठाएको छ।
There are thousands of others like me, and we need permanent residency so we can stay here and continue to build our lives. If the thousands and tens of thousands like myself, if they deport us and take us out, who will do these jobs that we do? Through sun and rain, day and night, we're cooks, we're servers, we're dishwashers at restaurants, we drive taxis, we're nannies, we watch other people's children, we're nail salon workers. Just like me, I ride a bike and I deliver food. Without us, we're the ones who are building this economy forward.
हामी जस्तो टिपिएस भएका TPS भएका नभएका DED डाटा सबै आप्रवासीहरूलाई अमेरिकाको स्थायी बसोबास गराइ पाउँ।
For myself as a Nepali TPS holder, this is not just for me, this is for all other TPS holders. These are for folks with DED, DACA, undocumented immigrants, all immigrants that deserve to stay here and build our lives.
म पनि चाहन्छु म मेरो परिवार छोराछोरी श्रीमती एकैसाथ यो देशमा नयाँ जीवन सुरु गर्न पाऊँ। यो मेरो भगवानसँग प्रार्थना छ।
It is my hope and prayer that I wish to share with you that I want to build my life here together with my family and bring my wife, my daughter, who I've yet to meet, and my son so that we can build a new life. Thank you.
I would like to introduce another constituent of New York 14, Lupita Romero. She grew up in Jackson Heights and Corona. She's a DACA recipient, and she works as a legal advocate today. She's also a writer, an activist, and an immigrant activist and worker rights activist. Lupita, welcome.
This is a very special moment for me because when I came to the United States in 2001, I was 9 years old. I came here with my mother, and we had already been separated from our parents for about a year or so. I actually didn't realize that I was an unaccompanied minor until I saw the children who are traveling alone today. And I realized that had I come 10 years later, that could have been me. That could have been me and my brother in a cage without being able to talk to or know where our mom was. When I arrived at JFK, just like many of those children, even without having been in the detention center, I didn't recognize her face. I didn't know who she was, and I was definitely angry with her for a lot of years after I came here. This is very coincidental, and I almost think that it's fate. But my first day of school in the United States was actually in this school. I sat exactly right over there. And I didn't understand a word of English for the first whole year that I was in the school. It was one of the very few ones that had a bilingual program to begin with. And I didn't know it back then, but my first day of school was actually on 9/11. When the Twin Towers were taken down. And I didn't know just how much my life and the life of a lot of children who grew up here after 9/11 would be. And that is a life that is marked by war, war abroad, and a Department of Homeland Security that has waged a war on all immigrants, like myself and my brother. Our wars are not just abroad, they are here, and they are fighting against us, and they are trying to kill us. One summer that he didn't have anywhere to go because our neighborhoods don't fund enough school programs in the summer for all of the immigrant kids whose parents have to work. They arrested him over 5 times in one summer and then deemed him a criminal and told my mother that her child, the same one that grew up in the same household as me, was no longer eligible for DACA or for any sort of relief program that could save him from deportation. My mom sat in front of us with one of her children, me, deemed a good immigrant because I kept my grades up in school, because I was the older sibling and too scared to act out, and deemed my brother a bad immigrant because he had a hard time assimilating to this country, because he had a hard time growing up in a country that didn't want him at all. And so years later, when he was sent to Rikers illegally and illegally held by the NYPD for ICE to comfort him, It was deemed illegal by city council members, by Congress people. They said stop and frisk was illegal. The racist arrests were illegal. NYPD holding immigrants was illegal. But that didn't take my brother back from detention center. And that didn't bring back all of his friends who had already been deported for similar reasons. It's not going to bring them back today. Even though the NYPD has said that they've improved their tactics, we know that that's not true. And just like at the border, and here, white supremacists and racists have infiltrated these agencies, and they're wreaking havoc. They've written the laws that criminalize us. The 1996 crime laws that all of the deportations today are based on. The drug war that has forced us from Latin America to come here. If you have come here from Latin America, you know that the crimes that they are detaining us for are the crimes of poverty. It's the crimes of selling food and driving vehicles without the license that they refuse to give us. It is for trying to obtain services that we pay taxes for. So today, my demand is for no less than the closure of the entire Department of Homeland Security. And it is that department and all of the agencies that work under it, including the cooperation that the NYPD has with them, that has to be stopped. It has to be dismantled. We need the concentration camps not to be improved, we need them to be closed. But for a path of citizenship without any conditions. That is the demand today. Dismantle the Department of Homeland Security. Dismantle ICE. Fund mental health services for all of these children. Give us the right to vote. The access to the public services that we pay taxes for. Because I have worked as a legal advocate for more than 10 years now. And I have seen undocumented parents who are facing eviction, who are facing homelessness and hunger because they cannot access the services, public services, city and state services that they have paid taxes and millions of dollars of taxes in for decades. And that is not right. We deserve unconditional citizenship because there are no conditions for our humanity.
Whether that be through people being detained at their check-in, raids being conducted, or otherwise. Yakti and Roxana, can you talk about the impact this has had on our community?
Hello. First, Lupita, thank you so much for sharing your story. And as a member myself, I feel very connected with everything that you said. Yes, the increase, well, first of all, I want to start with our community is strong. Us immigrants, we're strong, we're resilient, and the Trump administration has constantly attacked us and tried to install fear in us about these raids happening in our communities. But let me tell you that in the 8 activities that have been registered in New York, there have been no arrests. And why is that? Because our people know their rights and are asserting their rights. And instead of trying to give into Trump's fear that he wants to install in us, that he wants to put in our children, we are saying no. We know our rights, and we know that no ICE officer will come into our homes without a judicial warrant.
That's right. Abolish ICE.
But we still remain vigilant. We still are monitoring the situation. At Make the Road, New York, what we're doing, we have a defense manual that guides people from what are their rights to what to do if a loved one is detained. We also have a rapid response coordinator that helps guide our folks that walk into our offices if for some reason they need direct help to an attorney, or if they need to be able to locate someone that has been taken by ICE.
Can folks hear me? Great. Thank you. It's, when we were hearing about these raids that happen every year around this time, as well as in the beginning of the year, around like shortly after New Year's and onwards, we had already been anticipating this as soon as the presidential elections happened in 2016, which is why we had to do the work on the ground to build a rapid response network through a collaboration with at least 9 other organizations in the community through hate-free zones work that we've built here in Western Queens, and as well as one that we have in our base in Kensington, Brooklyn. And what we decided to do was what we had always responded with, which is about power, not panic. And we know that that is what these agencies, what the Trump administration wants us to be in a state of complete panic, which allows us to operate from a place of disempowerment rather than what we know to be true. That the people who are closest to the pain, as Emma just said, are the best people to be able to fight against it. That frontline communities have front seats to systems of oppression that we are fighting against. And what we wanted to do was, how do we reach the community directly? Because there were a lot of these neuro rights that were being hosted throughout the city, but the people who were showing up to them were not what is reflective of this audience. The majority of people in this audience and in our community. So we had entire outreach teams going out to Parkchester, Bronx, where we have our bases, here in Western Queens and South Queens and Kensington, Brooklyn, with 50 of our members and leaders, and speaking to people as they were coming out of the subways, going to the businesses and doing neural rights trainings with customers and workers and managers right on the spot. Going into people's homes and holding house parties for people in their neighborhoods to learn about what are their rights and what they can do around it, what are their legal options around it, if in the unfortunate case that somebody is detained, what do you do with the people who are left behind? And training everybody who's from 80 years old to the 6-year-old, because that person will also probably be the person that's to respond when ICE comes. And with this work, we did this in multiple languages. We had to do them simultaneously because we are a multilingual organization. We organize working class foundations. We had to do these trainings in Bangla, in Urdu, in Hindi, in Nepali, in Punjabi, because that's what is representative of the entire majority of languages in our communities. And then we also had to partner with other community organizations who could be able to interpret things in Tagalog and Spanish, because that is really what real outreach took. And because of this, we were able to reach 5,000 people within 3 days of doing these neural rights trainings. Because when we're not operating from a place of panic, it gives the excuse for those people outside who handed that flyer to a child, go back to where you came from, to make them feel like that they're powerful. And they don't have the guts to show up here the way that our communities do. And that is what we need to remember in these times. And beyond your rights is to understand that even when we know our rights, it is still not enough to combat institutions like ICE, the police collaborations that are designed to basically disempower and depopulate us. What we learned through, what we constantly emphasized with our trainings was, beyond the neural rights trainings, we need to organize. That our collective power beyond this training is what decides if you're going to be safe, if your neighbor's going to be safe, if we're going to be reflective of the kind of country that we want to be going forward.
Thank you all so much. decades and the curtailment of legal paths to immigrate to the United States. Can you talk about how the announcement of termination of DACA, TPS, DED, as well as the changes to asylum and refugee policies and procedures have affected our communities?
So first I just want to say on behalf of over 2 million immigrants from 54 countries of Africa and the US, over 200,000 here in the 5 boroughs, many in the district, Manchester, Rack City, Jackson Heights, and a couple dozen of our members from African communities together. So I think the Congresswoman said it well before, right? There's this rhetoric that the problem is just illegal immigration. We're just stepping up enforcement on illegal immigration. That's the rhetoric, that's the cover story. But what we know is that this administration has systematically attacked all the avenues for people to immigrate legally to the U.S., and at the same time has stripped away temporary protections that allowed people to have some measure of stability, of normalcy, of ability to work. So this administration has tried to get rid of temporary protected status for 13 countries in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. We have fought back. Our organization and organizations in this room, like our friends at IDCAR, have sued this administration, and as a result of doing that, we were able to stop the stripping away of temporary protected status for over 400,000 people from 4 countries: Haiti, Sudan, IDCAR sued to stop for thousands more from Nepal and Honduras. We sued the administration to stop the stripping away of deferred and forced departure, another important humanitarian immigration program for thousands of people from Liberia. But that's just one front of the assault on status and entry. There's also the assault on the diversity visa program, which currently admits over 50,000 people per year, and gives them an opportunity without having wealth of connections to this country to immigrate legally. The administration has proposed to zero out refugee resettlement and say from 100,000 per year, which was still inadequate, we're going to go to 0, and we're going to turn our back on any humanitarian responsibility. And then the administration was also systematically attacked asylum seekers, putting them in detention, not just at the southern border, but here in Bergen County, New Jersey, where Make the Road is leading protests because there's not air conditioning in detention centers where asylum seekers and detained immigrants are trying to survive. And as the Congresswoman also said, just systematically throwing as much sand in the gears of people trying to do normal routine things like get their citizenship or get the visa. What connects it to all the other attacks that we're seeing is fear of losing white majority in this country. But the fact is, we can slow down change, but we can't stop it. We know that that the world is changing, the U.S. is changing, and they are fighting a losing battle.
We have seen the adoption of European policies. You mentioned earlier in the remarks that reducing the rate of business border. Can you tell us about this?
Okay, so I'll speak to this. So, I think I share with a lot of folks in the country a lot of the depravity that I saw at the border and at these detention centers. But I think one of the things that was especially chilling to me was the disrespectful and frankly outright contempt that CBP officers had, not just towards me, but to the entire congressional delegation and visit. And to me, what was so disturbing about that was not about taking it personally. It wasn't just, oh, you know, this officer was disrespectful towards me. But it was the fact that if these officers felt this comfortable defying rules in front of their own management and superiors, not even me, but their own bosses, they had no problems breaking rules in front of their own bosses, in front of the acting director at the time. What that tells me and what I was extremely concerned by was a culture of dehumanization within CBP. Because if this is how they're acting when everyone is watching, I'm concerned with how people are being treated when no one's watching. And I get a lot of pushback on that in DC. People say just this week, I had the acting director of the Department of Homeland Security right in front of me saying, CBP doesn't have a dehumanizing purpose. CBP doesn't have a dehumanizing purpose. And they're trying to make this about the officers. That as though I'm trying to make this an issue saying the officers are bad people or good people. But once you force someone to rip a child away from their mother, that changes you. That impacts you psychologically. That creates a trauma for everyone involved. Because in order to bring yourself to violate a child's human rights, you need to compartmentalize something in your brain, and you need to start shutting things off and dehumanizing yourself. So these policies are not just dehumanizing to children, they're not just dehumanizing to families, but they're dehumanizing to everybody involved. And hurt people. And so one of the things I think was most disturbing about that is it's how do we get to this point? And it's never one fell swoop. We don't go from treating people incredibly well to all of a sudden putting children in cages. It is a process that takes steps. It is a process that is dehumanizing, and I'll kind of puncture the taboo here. This is something that started before Trump, and we all know that. We all know that as a community. But the problem is that it set the stage, and it was waiting for someone like Trump to do this. Because you let all the trappings there, assuming that someone responsible is tending the shop, when all of a sudden, when someone isn't, that's when you start getting intense human rights violations and deaths that we're seeing. Because although a lot of the troubling practices had started a long time ago, not one child died until this past year, until these last couple of years. And so we need to really make sure that this isn't just about, as was stated earlier, this isn't just about making a better cage. It's about not caging human beings. And we have to have that paradigm shift in that.
My final question before we go to the questions from the audience. Jennifer and Roxana, we have also seen the livelihood of immigrant communities being attacked indirectly through immigration. We have seen the attempt to add a citizenship question. We have seen the threat of changing the definition of public charge and therefore access to services. And we have also seen the changes to housing policy. Can you please talk about what that means to our communities?
Before I respond to that, I do want to take a moment, being an organization that serves Asian, immigrant, and low-income new workers, to say that we denounce the administration's use of the tokenism of Elaine Chao, the Secretary of Transportation on the cabinet, as a way to deflect the administration from taking responsibility for the racist attacks that they made against the Congresswoman and her colleagues. It is clear to us that that was divisive, and we feel it's important to denounce that, from using Asian Americans to somehow justify the fact that we have somebody who looks like us on the cabinet as a way of saying that he actually respects diversity, when in fact, he is intimidating people of color from being able to be critical of the administration and calling out when there are abuses of power and holding him to account. The Congresswoman and her colleagues are doing her job, and we support the work that she is doing in DC. With respect to the specific policies that are anti-immigrant, we've seen through the offices that we have in Jackson Heights, Chinatown, Lower East Side, and downtown Flushing, we serve about 13,000 immigrants and low-income New Yorkers each year. And we've seen up to a 22% decline in clients either enrolling in public benefits or renewing the public benefits that they are eligible for and that they deserve. And the consequences of that are people no longer are using food stamps, they no longer have health insurance, and they no longer have Section 8 housing to support their ability to put food on the table, to have a safe home for their families, or to be able to go to the emergency room or to see a doctor when they are in need. So this has a devastating consequence on immigrant residents and their families and their children. It's also created a climate where, with respect to housing, we know landlords are taking advantage of the fact of knowing about the nation of origin or the immigration status of tenants to use that to extort more money from low-income immigrant New Yorkers to pay more security deposit or pay more rent. That is illegal under the Fair Housing Law. Yet we hear from our tenant organizer that that is becoming a common practice. Families are also being separated not only at the border, but because of these anti-immigrant policies, they're being forced to make tough choices. We know of Asian immigrants who are sending their children back to their homelands because they are afraid that they will be deported and leave their children without anyone to care for them. So we are seeing a sharp decline in the number of immigrant students in our schools here in New York City because they're being separated from their families. And their parents are making conscious decisions to send them back rather than keeping them together as a way of trying to protect them. To counteract this, I will say that I am encouraged by the fact that at a local level, through the solidarity of low-income tenants coming together to push for greater tenant protections and passing rent regulation reform, that there is the possibility and it is the power of having low-income New Yorkers and immigrant New Yorkers across our communities coming together to fight for our rights. And I want to see more of that happening.
The question around what are the other ways that our immigrant communities are being impacted beyond just straight up like immigration policies? One of the biggest ways is the census. You know, now that we finally have won our grand victory of removing and implementing the citizenship question being on the